subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell icon. Thank you. Hello my wonderful people and welcome back to my channel. There is an outrage over Igp'S failure to stop looting in the country as police shun Adamu'S order. Federal government, Lagos State and Oyo State governments have received no fewer than 126 petitions on human rights violations by the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian Police Force. Government officials who disclosed this in a separate interview with the reporters on Tuesday stated that 65 petitions had been received by the federal government, 46 in Oyo State and 15 in Lagos State. But as federal and state governments intensified efforts to investigate human rights violations by security agents, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, came under fire on Tuesday as looters continued attacks on government and private establishments with futile efforts by the police to stop them. Also contrary to the IG's directive last week, police had yet to fully return to streets of Abuja and Lagos 5 days after the EndSARS protest ended. Recall that youths demanding disbanding of SARS on October 8 embarked on 2 weeks protest in major cities across the country. On October 12, the federal government granted the demand of the protesters by disbanding SARS, but the youth insisted that the government had not met their 5 demands. The demands include release of all EndSARS protesters, justice for the deceased victims of police brutality, setting up of panels to investigate police brutality, psychological evaluation of SARS officers, and increase in police salary. But on Tuesday, the federal government's Independent Investigative Panel on Human Rights Violation by SARS said it had received 65 petitions on rights abuses by the police unit. The 11-man panel led by Justice Suleiman Gladima, a retired justice of the Supreme Court, was inaugurated by the chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Tony Ojukwu, on October 21st. The secretary of the IPP, Mr. Hilary Obona, confirmed to one of our correspondents that the panel had received 50 petitions from different parts of the country before the inauguration last week Wednesday, and an additional 16 thereafter. We had received 50 petitions before. Over the last 1 week, we have received 16. So we have received 65 petitions so far. But that is not the final figure as we keep receiving petitions, he said. Asked when panel will begin sitting, Obona said, "We are considering next week, but no date yet." In Lagos State, the panel of inquiry and restitution set up by the Lagos State government had received 15 petitions. In Oyo State, Governor Mr. Seyi Makinde said no fewer than 46 persons had reported cases of rights violation and police brutality through the platform created for that purpose. The governor said this in Ibadan on Tuesday while addressing representatives of the youth, artisans, drivers, and other categories of people in the state. He said 46 persons have so far reported infractions and rights abuses. Representative of the youth and artisans will serve on the panel of inquiry. But the panel of inquiry in Enugu State did not commence sitting on Tuesday. It was learned that it might be sitting next week. A member of the panel who spoke on condition of anonymity told one of our correspondents on the phone that we are yet to meet because of the curfew imposed by the state government. We are likely going to meet tomorrow or next week. In Ondo State, the judicial panel has not started sitting also. Speaking to one of our correspondents, the secretary of the panel, Mr. Larry Amuda, said the panel had not begun sitting, but it had been receiving some complaints. But the Nasarawa State panel began sitting on Tuesday. The chairman of the commission, Justice Badamasi Mina, at the inaugural sitting said proper sittings of the panel would begin next month. The chairman of the Ebonyi panel and the former chief judge of Ebonyi State, Justice Aloy Nwankwo, in a telephone interview in Abakaliki said the panel had not received any petition. Police have failed to stop looting and the lawlessness in Abuja continues. In Abuja, the police failed to stop hoodlums who invaded the National Youth Service Corps orientation camp in Kuba and the People's Democratic Party office in Gwagwalada, vandalizing this and stealing office equipment and welfare items. Attempted by the looters to invade the Nigerian Customs Service Command and the Staff College in Gwagwalada were repelled by armed NCS operatives who fired shots in the air to stop them. The attacks happened despite claims by the authorities that they have been deployed enough soldiers and police personnel to beef up the security across the Federal Capital Territory. The IG had on Saturday ordered police commanders to immediately stop the descent to anarchy across the country. Adamu directed the immediate mobilization of all police operational assets and resources to bring an end to the wanton violence, killings, lootings, and destruction of the federal and private properties, and reclaim the public space from criminal elements masquerading as protesters in some parts of the country. The hoodlums commenced their lawlessness on Saturday with a raid on the warehouse holding COVID-19 palliatives in Garki Area 10. On Saturday, they stormed the Idu Industrial Estate, Jabi, Abuja, and emptied some warehouse housing relief materials and provision. But on Tuesday, at Gwagwalada, miscreants broke into the PDP area office in Phase 3, Zone 4, and went away with grinding, sewing, and water pumping machines meant for the empowerment of the party members across the 10 wards in Gwagwalada Area Council. The building belonging to the senator representing the FCT, Philip Tanimu Aduda, was also vandalized as the windows and doors were smashed. A party chieftain, Isaac Yusuf, confirmed the attack on the office, adding that some of the miscreants were arrested and handed over to the police. He stated, "The hoodlums invaded our party office and looted the items meant for party faithful. The items were to be shared to members across the 10 wards in Gwagwalada, but they stormed the building, smashed the doors and windows, and carted away sewing and grinding machines, as well as office equipment. You can see that they have vandalized the chairs, including the windows. We were able to make some arrests. We are calling on the federal government to do something about the ongoing looting and attack on private properties." The talks also caused a scare in another satellite town, Kuje, as they blocked the roads while searching for warehouse where relief materials were stored. Though teams of policemen were seen at some street junctions in the city center and around public buildings, the satellite towns and suburbs lacked the presence of police operatives. Only a handful of security operatives were seen in Maitama, Jabi, Otako, Uze, Wuye, and so on, while areas like Jabi, Lokogoma, satellite towns like Kuje, Bariwa, and so on did not have adequate number of security operatives on duties. Hoodlums also harassed Lagos residents as police failed to return to the streets. In Lagos, 5 days after the EndSARS protest ended, police presence was not felt in various areas of the state as hoodlums were taking advantage of the lack of security to extort and rob unsuspecting members of the public of their valuables. At various areas like Bega, Faba, Ikotun, Abulaiba, and so on, hoodlums were seen barricading roads, demanding money from motorists and motorcyclists conveying passengers at various destinations in the states. Some armed hoodlums were said to have used dangerous weapons to rob unsuspecting members of the public of their valuables. A victim who identified himself simply as Abola said he was attacked by hoodlums around 7 p.m. at the Millennium Bridge in Abule Egba on Monday, adding that he had to ply a one-way direction to escape siege laid by the hoodlums. All right, my wonderful people, these are many more are the news we have for you, saying that there is so much outrage over IGP's failure to stop looting, and also that the policemen are shunning Adamu'S order. If you have been following what has been happening in the country for the past few days, you find out that the whole protest started as a peaceful one. People were really protesting bad governments, bad police forces, police brutality. Not until the hoodlums had hijacked the protest and started looting people's properties, still harming people's life. But right now, it's saying that there is outrage over the IGP's failure to stop looting. You all know that we're in this part of the country, where this part of the world where the police force are not really valued. It's not that they have not valued because the citizens don't really attach value to them, but because they have made themselves so that people don't even want to associate with them. Because the moment you're associating with the police, it's either they're looting from you, they're asking you to give them money, 50 naira, 100 naira, and so on. They're always wanting something from you and not rendering any help to you. So at the end of the day, we find out that people are not really benefiting from the policemen. Instead of them to be protecting the life of the citizen, they can as well be seen taking the life of the citizen that are meant to protect. So I don't really blame the masses. I beckon on the police forces to sit up and gain the masses' trust, because that is the only way the masses will respect their command and do their bidding. Alright, my wonderful people, you too can as well become part of this discussion by dropping your opinion and what you think concerning this at the comment section. See you in my next video. Thank you.